What is going on, YouTube Nation? This is Darth Dividend. If you guys are new to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. I'm going to keep on buying Pfizer stock, and I'm going to explain to you guys why. This stock is in demand. It's not just because of the vaccine. There are a lot of problems going on with people's health, and I'm going to address that. And Pfizer carries a lot of medications that can help these people, and it's only going to get worse with people's health. And their products are going to help these people. May not, but many of their products are in demand right now. Some of them are actually we there was a low amount in the hospital as of late because of the demand for a lot of their products that they carry. So there's a rise in diabetes, hypertension, obesity. I'm going to address that before we even go over Pfizer stock real quick. Let's check that out. So I'm just on the CDC website, and this is 2011, and there's an obesity epidemic. It's a national epidemic and a major contributor and the leading cause of death in the U.S., including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and some other types of cancer. They said that we need to change our communities into places that strongly support healthy eating and active living. So let's jump to Pfizer's stock and dividend stock history real quick. In the past 5 years, Pfizer hasn't done too hot against the S&P. It's right at $40.35. Now, they are in the news. There's a lot of hype about them because of the vaccine and their effectiveness with some of these variants. But it's right at $40.35. But what makes these guys attractive is not just the vaccine that they carry, but many of their products. So I need to jump to their dividend stock history just to show you guys why I'm buying them and why I'm going to continue to be long in them, because I like their dividend consistency. And then I'll jump to some of their products that they carry that combat the obesity or go with the flow, basically, with people in obesity and heart disease. So let's jump to the dividend history real quick. So since I am a dividend investor, I like my dividends really right around the 3 to 5% range. And of course, there's a special dividend. That's great. But it's right at 39 cents. It has consistently increased its dividend over time. It's 3.9%. PE ratio 2059. Annual dividend of 156. Sure, that's great that it's increasing its dividend, but this is what makes it a very good stock to buy, because the demand is going to be unbelievable with a lot of their products, which I will jump to. So let's just discuss heart disease and people that have low ejection fractions. We need to be on an ACE inhibitor. That's part of our core measures to follow. So an ACE inhibitor, people that have they need this, because I don't want to get too technical, but that's part of our core measures. People get a heart attack, people have low ejection fraction, they need to be on this, and a beta blocker, and I'll jump to the beta blocker eventually. And here's a combination of quinapril and hydrochlorothiazide. And so with ACE inhibitors, well, if you have a low ejection fraction, let's just say of less than 50%, let's just say 20%. Usually you want to have an ejection fraction of 65% or better. If you have fluid buildup, if your left ventricle is not pumping very effective, you need to get something to pee it out. So hydrochlorothiazide, HCTZ is a diuretic, and it helps get sodium out. So the rule is kind of with fluid overload, low ejection fractions, where sodium goes, water follows. You kind of have a combination of quinapril, hydrochlorothiazide. Got to watch those sodium levels, because I'm telling you, HCTZ can drop your sodium levels pretty quick. So I've taken care of many patients that had to be on fluid restrictions, and with sodium, they're in the hospital. If their sodium, usually you like 135 to 145 of sodium, but if it's 120s, they're at risk of seizure. So you got to keep a close eye, and you don't want to jump up too fast. You have to go very, very slow with adjusting to that. Here's another combination, spironolactone and hydrochlorothiazide. So aldactone, okay, it's a potassium sparing diuretic. So if you pee a lot, and you eat a lot, sometimes you can lose electrolytes. Sodium and potassium is one of them. But with aldactone, this spares the potassium. You see hydrochlorothiazide, it gets rid of the sodium there. But again, you need to check labs. That's very important. So that's what you have to be careful with. So these are just some of the products that they carry. Now, I'm just going over some heart issues. Okay. And let's jump over to these. Here's another one, sodium bicarbonate. So it's going to be, here's the thing. So if your kidneys, you have diabetes, you have hypertension, you put all that stress in your kidneys, you're going to need sodium bicarbonate because your kidneys are very important. If your kidneys and liver can take an abuse, but over time, you're going to need sodium bicarb is basically good for the balance of your body. So kidneys make erythropoietin, which is the stuff that generates red blood cells. If you notice, a lot of these cyclists get in trouble with doping. That's erythropoietin. That's the hormone that those guys take. Take a guess. I mean, you get increased cells, red blood cells. That helps you with your endurance. Can be dangerous though. They're at risk of a stroke. But your kidneys also make sodium bicarb, and that helps with your acid base balance. So what happens if your kidneys are bad and you're a dialysis person? You might need sodium bicarb because beat up kidneys, they don't make those hormones. People get injections of erythropoietin, little sub-Q shot, and they need to take sodium bicarb sometimes. So there was a big shortage of labetalol. So labetalol is a beta blocker. It's used for hypertensive crisis. Can lower heart rate. Obviously, a beta blocker relaxes the heart. But with the rise in obesity and people coming to the hospital in hypertensive crisis, this is the medication that many physicians will prescribe to push IV push to drop people's blood pressure and try to get them fixed. So labetalol, you just do an IV push. It's a very good medication of choice with helping people in hypertensive crisis. It's used in the post anesthesia unit a lot for people if their blood pressure is high, where they get knocked out for surgery. There was at one point there was a huge shortage of labetalol, and that could happen again, unfortunately, because of the demand for and the rise in hypertension. They're saying in 2030, like there's going to be like around $200 billion pumped into hypertensive medications. I read a research article, and labetalol is going to be one of them. If people are non-compliant, not taking care of themselves, or if their blood pressure is too high, this is the weapon of choice sometimes in hospitals. Or not sure if they carry this oral in oral pill form, but this is a big weapon of choice to push IV to help people's blood pressure. And unfortunately, rise in obesity, hypertension, and everything, this product is in demand, and that's just how it is. It's a great medication for hypertension. You're going to be in demand. So there's a few other things I want to address real quick. So this one right here, so Cadoit. So there's some things with research has shown that African Americans respond very well to calcium channel blockers, a lot better than ACEs like verapamil. So that is very important. So ACE inhibitors and these calcium channel blockers are actually very important for African Americans to help their blood pressure, and that's going to be in demand for people. Unfortunately, the obesity rate is getting higher. But this is a weapon. It's a very good weapon to counter hypertension in African Americans. So it's anytime you'll notice that people, if they're on like amlodipine, if somebody's African American, and if you're on my channel and stuff, I'm just letting you guys know. If you ever go to the doctor, and any of you guys that see your physician, they'll order you amlodipine versus lisinopril or losartan. That's why, because research has shown it has helped it has done a significant decrease in blood pressure with African Americans. So I just want to give you a heads up with that one. So these guys have adapted to many things. Let's see. I just literally did a lecture on antibiotics. It's amazing how many antibiotics that these guys hang in the hospital and stuff and administer orally. But I just want to go over the medications. Here's another one, Corvert. This is kind of, since I work on a step down for, well, if your heart's a little beat up, you're going to potentially be in AFib. And guess what Corvert does? It's a medication that attempts you to get out of AFib, because if your heart rhythm's a little accurate, or I'm sorry, if it's accurate, and we call it sinus rhythm, you can Google search sinus rhythm, but if you're AFib, this one will help you potentially get out of AFib. And it's crazy. Like, you hang it and it's like, did it work? Like, now, then you try it again and you're like, all right, it worked. So really interesting medication to help people. And if you're sick, you don't take care of yourself, you smoke, sometimes that increases your chances of being an AFib. And AFib's not good. I mean, that increases your chances of a stroke. It causes clots to potentially jump out and stuff. So I just want to address some of these medications, because this is going to be very important in the next 15 to 20 years, actually maybe 5 years, because people are just getting bigger, they're getting sicker, and it's not just one comorbidity that you have. Diabetes, hypertension, it's your diabetes, you're obese, you're insulin resistant, you have high cholesterol, and these medications that Pfizer carries will help many people combat that. Even Lyrica, if you have diabetic neuropathy. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. This is Darth Dividend. You guys have a good one.